Welcome to another episode of Look What Just Found. And for the past couple of episodes, I looked at the change, the pocket change that my son had donated to the channel. And we did a pretty long video on it. I believe that was episode 46. And then 47, we did some house cleaning stuff with the pennies that have been, that I used to just throw into this little glass cup. So I really would like to, because who knows when I'm going to get another donation like this. I really like to kind of get through this. It's really good stuff. This is probably just as good as any customer wrap roll from a bank, and it gives me an opportunity to get something off of the desk. So I'm already seeing a bunch of copper in here. So let's get this onto the desk. Let's see how much we can do today without going overboard. And it's kind of rollish, except it's not in lines. So hopefully that's not too distracting. I don't think so. All right. So at least we're here. That what happened with the that box is the box is kind of high, and it was a little bit difficult for me to show the pennies, and I need that little extra space because I have such a small space that even the acrylic box will shorten the distance for me showing the penny. So let's get started on this, and we'll think of a topic along the way. I have the penny stuff up on the screen. $93. So yesterday, and like I said, I watch other penny channels too. Obviously, not as much as my own. And like a little coffee in the morning. And because I find it now it's different, right? There's a lot of it's funny because I have a lot of subscribers who are more knowledgeable about pennies than I am, right? Which is, that's not that great of an achievement, obviously, but I do. It's good for me because it helps bring me to that next level. And all of you guys who know more than me, at one time you didn't, right? At one time you knew less, and through hard work and study and coin rolls and hunting and collecting. 83. Put the scale out. So we're looking 83. Let me weigh it. 257. And so we're all at different points of understanding of, I'm just going to say penny errors, right? Because that is kind of where the stage that the channel's in, right? We're in a penny hunt era. Search stage. Misaligned die. And that's pretty much for quite some time now what we've been doing, right? Okay. So if you specialize in something, which I learned this a long time ago when I used to collect sports cards. I remember, because I'll tell this little story. I think it's pretty interesting, and it's definitely, keep looking at this, something with this penny. Okay. So let's see. Me and my wife moved in together in 2009-ish, I'm going to call it. And that's a beauty. At least it's fine, and it's misaligned. And the back looks even nicer. Let's see, make sure there's no rotation going on here. A little bit. That's very slight. That's what happens with the misalignment. Sometimes it throws the rotation off. I'm really looking for the one where I go like this and the thing is like flipped over. All right, so I'll put that into the fine column. We have our first fine copper of the day. So for whatever reason that I really I guess so there were two things that were pretty big to me in that time frame. One, so we're talking about what I say 2009, right? So LeBron was huge in 2009. LeBron was huge, and so was the Simpsons were also huge. And I remember I said, "Oh, let me collect. Let me start buying some of these Simpson cards and LeBron James cards." And LeBron James rookie cards cost $75. I remember this. I can't remember if that was graded or not. For some reason, I want to say a PSA 9 was $75, and ungraded was like 40 or something. And that was his rookie, his famous rookie card, the one where well, he has like 3 or 4 iconic rookie cards. And I'm gonna weigh that one. 252. And I think I bought 1 or 2. I ended up selling them just to make that long story short, for like $100, or which was a big deal back then. If you could buy something for 75 and sell it for like 125, let's say, those were in normal times of inflation, and if you can make a 25% profit, that was like, for $25 in 2009, 3 people can go out to dinner. Now it's $100. So I started collecting stuff. Let's just put it like that. That's where my stuff collecting started. Misaligned die. Something going on there in the head. Yeah. Not enough. And so I started thinking about collecting stuff back in 2009. And I read, and let me tell you something. If anybody out there collects cards of any kind, sports cards or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, then you heard of Check Out My Cards, right? They're like one of the biggest sports card companies in the world. In 2009, Check Out My Cards. The guy, this video is on him and everything. He was a regular dude. He was like you and me, and he had a photo bucket account. Okay, that he put his cards on, and he was and his photo bucket name was Check Out My Cards. Okay, that's who Check Out My Cards is. Okay, he was this regular dude. who had a photo bucket account called Check Out My Cards. And I remember I used to talk to him and stuff like, oh, that's a nice card and blah, blah, blah. And then him and his wife, I remember watching the video. Him and his wife bought a house, and they started the business with the cards, and the rest is history. Then they went out to California, and they started doing consignment and all of that. He has some nice cards, man. I mean, for back then, I mean, it was a whole different world. Yes, I'm looking for the extra V. I am on the Shields, but I think specifically it's the 2023. And I know there's a little circle or something, a zero on the back of the Shields, but I'm waiting for Eric to clarify that. I couldn't find. I went online. I looked for some information on it. I couldn't find it. So I was communicating with people who are, knowledgeable in the. That's missing the rim. Has a rim error. It has I don't know if that's called lamination. It has the little bubbles. It's misaligned. Still not holding on to it. No one's going to pay me $1 for it. And I remember I was doing research because I'm like a research person. You can tell, right? I mean, I came so far in 3 months, which this is going to connect to another story before we're done with our show today. And that's what I was doing. I was connecting with people to learn about card collecting. And I was like, what do I collect? What do I collect? Do I collect Simpson cards? Do I collect LeBron James cards? 2017. No extra V. Nothing with Liberty or the date. And I found this blog or post or something, 93. And this is what the person said. If you want to start collecting sports cards, find one player that you like and specialize in him. And it's a nice misaligned die. Really nice. I like it that it's top to bottom too. It's so wide and heavy on the rim's so wide and heavy on the bottom. And it's in beautiful condition. So I'll keep this misalignment. Just a nice penny. And he said, you learn everything you can about this one player and you become specialized in them. And then all the knowledge you learn about this one player and his types of cards will, it's not transcend, but will connect or relate to other people, other players, instead of collecting everybody and never getting strong with your knowledge, right? Because then you'll just your knowledge will be diluted because you only have so much money, right, to spend. You can't. If you got $1,000 and you spend it on one player, you can get a lot of his good cards back then. Anyway, I don't know about today, no. But if you take $1,000 and you spend it on 100 players, now you can only buy $10 of each one of their cards, and you're gonna know nothing. You're not gonna really help your knowledge base. So the person who I settled on collecting back then was Shaquille O'Neal. And because his cards were cheap, he was still playing. He was popular, but not that popular because I think he had already won his last championship, which was with he won with the Miami, like 2006 or something like that. So he was done as a superstar, He went to the Suns and for a year and Celtics before he finished. And so I said, before he retires, I said, let me collect Shaquille O'Neal. So I collected Shaquille O'Neal. Oh man, does this feel heavy? Maybe it's because of all the zincs I've been handling. Misaligned. It's in fine condition. Let me just weigh it. And it's not 305. I'm always wrong. Well, not always, but usually. Boy, I got a lot of misalignments here. So I did that for years, years and years and years. I collected shoe. Oh, we got a wheat. Nice. For years and years and years, I collected Shaquille O'Neal cards. And let me tell you, to this day, and I don't collect them anymore and haven't bought any of his cards in forever. But to this day, I know his cards back and forth. I know all his rookie cards. I know many of his, they call it insert cards, early serial numbered cards. I had some exotic cards of his. I had a card that was made, that was custom made of his from when he was like a sheriff or something like that in Florida. And someone took, I guess he gave his patch to somebody, his sheriff's patch, and they took pieces of it and they made custom cards out of it. I had one of those. Um, just from saying as an example of something you can't even find on at all. I had so many of his expensive rookie cards that today are like $1,000. They were $70 back then. I had, I don't know, 100 of them, which would have been obviously $100,000. I sold them all off to buy real estate in 2000, like 13 or something like that. That's when there was a real estate boom, and I knew nothing about real estate. Not too much about real estate. I knew some about real estate, but not. I wish I would have kept the cards. They would have been worth a lot more than the real estate. But point being that I read this person's, that was great advice that the person gave me, and I carried it with me for the rest of my life. And that is about specializing in one area of a hobby or of a specific part of collecting, let's call it. And what happened with me with this channel was that I got into penny roll hunting, and mostly because of the pennies that I had. I had that wheat cent hoard, which was tremendous. If you didn't watch those videos, I have it has its own specific playlist. Just look for the Wheat Pennies playlist. Tremendous. That's really what started me off. And then I got these great um, pennies from. Yeah, I see that up there. Might have to hold on to this one. Problem is, this is just cut off. You know what I mean? You know, that cut is so clean. It looks almost new. I have, that's what gives me an issue with it. Can something stay that clean for 60, 70 years? 61 years? I don't know. I'm not going to hold on to it though. So, we got a 2009. We got 2009 bicentennial. Very nice. So what specifically what I got into, right, is pennies. Obviously, that's what I'm talking about. And I've only been doing it for a couple months, so I'm not an expert in it, but I am slowly but surely expanding my knowledge base 3.1 on pennies, right? I mean, I could actually, have an intelligent discussion with my members now about pennies. Not about quarters, not about nickels, not about half dollars, not about dollars, pennies. I can have an intelligent conversation with just about anyone about pennies, because even if I don't know it, I could still understand what someone's talking about, which I could not 4 months ago. I mean, I understood words and I had the ability to, find out very quickly what someone meant. But otherwise, like to have a fluid, that's nice. I don't know if this is beyond fine. I don't think so. I'll put it to the fine. And I can now, right? So that's great because I'm only focusing on pennies. Mostly, I'll do some other stuff here and there, but mostly I'm focusing on pennies. And that's why I'm able to so rapidly expand my knowledge, is because I'm focusing on one specific aspect of coin collecting, coin roll hunting, pocket change. It's mostly on pennies, right? So even these pennies, these are pocket change pennies, right? But I separated them um, from all the rest of the change. I have the quarters and the nickels and all that stuff in another container. Oh, I put them in with my pocket change jar. So, because that would be, I mean, it's okay to do that, but I try not to do that, right? If I can avoid it. I had the opportunity to avoid that, and I did. 94, reverse. So, that is a pearl of wisdom that I could offer up to people who are starting to collect anything you're thinking about getting into, right? That you don't know much about, I'm saying. That's who I'm talking to as far as in this example. Is if you like something specific, right? So I for some reason, I'm drawn to pennies. That's a beauty. Absolute beauty. Something about it has that rainbow toning. I'll hold on to it. Just beautiful. I'll put this into the fine group. So that would be my recommendation to someone just starting out. If you like quarters, then stick with quarters. Obviously that's it's a little bit more expensive, but maybe you could do more of a deep dive into all the aspects of a quarter. But I couldn't tell you about that, right? Because I don't know much about quarters. I know about pennies, and pennies are cheap, and they're easy to collect, and they're easy to um, show. They're easy to obtain. Every bank will give you rolls of pennies. You can find them on the floor. I mean, it's awesome. I love me some pennies. And there are so many people out there who are knowledgeable about pennies that you could really learn quickly if you only focus on pennies. Okay, if you're going to focus on all coins, it'll take you much, 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 much long. If ever, you might never be able to learn anything about anything really. If you're just a very casual collector of everything, you'll never learn anything much. I remember when I said, "Yeah, I've been collecting pennies since I was a kid," or collecting coins. Excuse me. Right. So everybody's been collecting coins since they were a kid, but nobody knows. That's why these forums are full of people asking questions, because we've been collecting everything forever, but know nothing about anything, and that's the problem. So here on this channel, we have really honed in on penny errors. To make a long story short, yeah, it has a little bit of a lamination probably. I won't even hold on to something that's slightly laminated because they've taken it. It's too hard to show it to try to sell it for $1. 2017. No extra V. No floating head. And I don't know what I'm looking for on the back. Yes, I see that over the N. Probably just bagged. See, so my member, Eric, taught me. I heard that word before, bagged, and it never became part of my knowledge base, my repertoire. So I never practiced using it in conversation and discussion. But now that I focus on pennies, I can use it, right? So those little marks that look are small marks that are in a row. People call that bagged. So now when I go, oh look, that's bagged, right? So I know how to use that now, and that's how you learn. You take from other people and you make it your own. And people will take things from me and from this channel and make that their own. Is that a hair? Ugh. Find all kinds of stuff in pocket change. Yeah, you know I'm going to look at that next to the BDV, whatever it is. BDV. No. VDB, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know if you want that. I don't know if you want VDB. But you want the extra V. That you definitely want. So, after 27 minutes, you want to talk about someone able to draw out a thought, huh? Holy moly. You came to the right place if that's what you're looking for. So, yesterday I went on. Oh, wow. And if you want to listen to someone who gets distracted by shiny things, it's just the back, though. It's really the front I like it on more. I'm watching this person's video. She's showing, she has a new channel. She's showing her coins. And I don't think she's not a coin channel, though. She's like a something else channel. But for whatever reason, she's doing like a coin roll hunt or pocket change something. I can't remember exactly. And she's obviously, doesn't know much about it, and she's fumbling around and stuff. And while she's doing kind of what I'm doing. She's talking while she's looking through. Yep, I'm gonna look at that. She's talking while she's looking through her pennies, which I know quite a bit about now. And nah, that's damage. It might look like something, but it's the damage that caused the little lines and stuff in there. Yeah, it's nothing wrong. There's nothing significant about this. And during her video, she says, if anybody can help me out with knowing a little bit more about this hobby, I would appreciate it. Right? So I'm going to say to her, if she's watching this video, which she probably is not, but if she was watching this video, this is what I would say to her. And this is also what I said in my previous video to someone else who was like, explain this, explain that, which if I can, I will. Don't get me wrong. I will 100%. But irregardless, this is still my advice to anyone who wants to learn about penny errors. Because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about something super duper specific. We're talking about penny errors. That's it. I'm going to say this is a zinc. Yep. And that would be to click on my coin roll hunt videos in the playlist. I don't know, man. It's got to be. All right, and once you go in, and obviously it has to be the videos, not the shorts, right? The shorts, that's just there for entertainment. 82. Wow, that's a wild. This is a wild 82. This has to be. I think it's a zinc number one. It's a large date. So what I'm doing right here, someone who just started in pennies cannot do and might never be able to do unless you get super serious about penny era hunting. I'm going to diagnose this penny. Okay. This is a zinc. I haven't weighed it yet. It's a zinc. How do I know that? Or how do I suspect that? From the surface of the obverse. The surface of the obverse appears to be blistered, which is common in zinc pennies as a lamination error. Little pockets of gas get caught in the between the die and the planchet, and it causes this type of bubbling. Right, so that's blistering. That's number one. It is also misaligned die on the obverse, because the 82 could be copper or zinc, right? Transitional year. Is it rotated? Not really. No, it's not. Okay. The color is off. Like if it has a mixture, if it had a mixture problem, or if it was in a fire, or I mean, it's orange. That's not typical of a zinc penny. All right. How do we know it's zinc? Now, definitively, we have to weigh it, right? So 2.5 grams is let's say to 2.6 grams is the tolerance for a zinc penny. So this was 2.57. It's within the tolerant weight of a zinc penny. This is a large date. How do I know it's a large date? Because the 2 looks like a candy cane or an umbrella stick. You want to look at it that way, it looks like an umbrella stick. If you want to look at it this way, it looks like a candy cane. If it wasn't, it would look like a question mark. It would have this curve on the bottom that's indicative of the zinc small date. I haven't found a copper small date. Some of my subscribers think I have, but it looks like the large date of a zinc. So I'm going to assume that it's a large date. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. So this is a 1982 zinc penny, Philadelphia mint, because it has no mint mark, which makes it a Philadelphia large date penny. You can only do that if you have extensive knowledge or really worked hard on understanding 1982 penny specifically and penny variations and errors generally. That's a special penny. I will put it there. So that process of me, I did not know that 3 months ago at all. I didn't even know that 1982 had that there was a zinc and a copper penny 3 months ago. Okay, just to show you how little I knew. There's no shame in my game, no faking the funk, none of that. So that would be my recommendation to anyone, specifically the person doing the video, is to watch my coin roll hunts from the beginning, and you will see how someone goes from knowing very little about penny errors to what I just did right there, diagnosing that 1982 zinc Philadelphia large date penny. Okay. And it's a long process. So I mean, if obviously, is somebody going to do that? Maybe, why not? My videos are pretty good. I think my videos are pretty good. Why not? Someone's going to do it one of these days. And I'm still learning a lot. There's so much to learn. I don't even know if you could finish learning about penny errors, to be honest with you, because there's always somebody who knows something that you don't. So that would have been my advice, right? Because all I could do is offer. I'm gonna look at that. Is offer myself, right? And where I've come from, and what I've learned. That's all I can offer to anybody. That's all I got, which is quite a bit. We're doing pretty good here. I'm pretty happy with. We haven't found much. We found some finds. We found the wheat. We haven't found like anything nuts. I wish we would, but this is part of the process, right? You can't rush it. Can't look. I'm gonna weigh this one. You can't look a gift horse in the face or the mouth or whatever. However the saying goes. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. 2.5. 82, another 82. See, to me, this is a copper. Large date. Philadelphia. Let's see. 3.10. That's right on the nose. So I correctly identified this penny. And we have a zinc and we have a copper that we found today. So if you like pennies, focus on pennies. It's easy. When I say easy, I mean the source material is readily available. Now, the process, that is not easy. The process is not easy. This takes, I think that. So what do you think, fire? Think that's fire damage? Let me see. This might make a good thumbnail. I think it's fire. I could weigh it. $314. Maybe that's all the carbon on it, right? I remember one of my very popular videos. If you look at my most popular videos, you'll see one is a quarter. And I think I say something like, look at this crazy error I found. And this is before I started doing the penny searches and before I knew anything. I'm weighing that. 2.5. Look at this quarter. Look at that circle error around it. And someone goes, that's the circle of death, man. That's not an error. I was like, what? That's not that quarter's not worth $1,000. What? Is that like Stewie from Family Guy? And so of course they were right. It's one of my most popular videos for whatever reason, but it's the circle of death, which is when the coins get put into the coin roll, the machine that closes up the end makes does damage, makes a circle on the coin. Ah, look at this. That's interesting. Might have to hold on to this one. This better not be a white AM, man. I have to look at this. 99. This will really stinko. I think it'll stinko. Let me look. Oh man, you have to be kidding me. This is a 1999 with all this crazy damage to it or whatever it is. Die cracks. Beautiful damage. I have to say. I can't believe this might be the first white AM I find. And you would think it's because I'm making a mistake with the getting confused with the damage that's there. But the AM and the 98, 99, and 2000, they're basically touching each other. And this one looks like there's a space between the legs, like a legit space. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. Maybe I just can't see the right part of the A. And it looks like there's a space. But regardless, we'll still look at this penny. It's pretty interesting. Vicious crack in the right there. I mean, vicious, like it's splitting open. Of course, I know exactly what the comments are going to be is that it's fire. Um, I mean, fire doesn't cause those hits on the edge. So it was in a fire, and then all kinds of metal were smashing into it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that has to do with fire. Um, but doesn't mean it's not fire. But it doesn't look like fire to me. It looks like something else. And whatever that something else contributed to the darkness could be like lamination, something. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's a pretty cool one. Well, we'll hold on to that. Yeah, I see that little ring around there. Even those I'm not holding on to anymore. They would have to be really, really good. The blistering, I'm not holding on to these anymore. They'd have to be really, really, really like pop out at you. You know, I feel like I found an extra V on a penny before, and I knew nothing about it, and I just chucked it. That stinks. See, that's a real wide AM right there. But of course, on the 92, we're looking for the close AM. But that's just to show you what the wide AM is. That's the real wide AM. So I guess the other one was not a wide AM. That's the way it's supposed to look. That's the close AM. And I guess that's closer to how the last penny looked than the wide. So I'm going to say it's not wide. So maybe that'll be a little bit of the topic for the bonus feature today. Sometimes I've been doing so many videos lately, which I know. Calm down, take it easy. I will. Eventually, maybe. 92 again. Yeah, see, that's wide. That's dirt. Yeah, so maybe that'll be the topic today. Talking a little bit about um I don't know, either about the journey or or if I'm qualified to give advice yet. I think I am. I wasn't given advice before, right? So if you can watch, go into the playlist, click the videos, go to oldest video of the coin roll hunting, and you can watch. We're on episode, what's this, 40? Oh man, I forgot already. Yeah, 48. Watch the, I don't know, let's say watch the first 35 and see if I give advice. I know I don't. Or first 40. I know I don't. I don't give advice. Oh, I like these too. They're so beautiful. I don't, because I didn't know anything to give advice. I mean, I could say what I think I see, but I wasn't saying this is what somebody else should do. You know what I mean? Ah, here we go. We have one possible AU. I'll take it. We got one possible AU out of the lot. I'll take it. This is really close to the floating head. Let me tell you. That is so close to the floating head. I'm going to hold on to it. Oh, L on rim. It's pretty close to L on rim, too. We got all kinds of stuff happening here. But that's really, really close to floating head. I don't know if I've ever seen one that has so much fade between the head on the neck. I mean, it just popped out at me. I was like, whoa. All right, I'll hold on to that. Got a couple more here. Okay, here's another 2020. So, hey, you want to put them together? This one, we got two 2020s. We got the one I said was like floating headish. See if there's a difference between them. Uh-huh. So it definitely has something to do with the jawline, I think. Can't tell why is it I felt this was so. Well, sometimes your eyes play tricks on you. I'll get rid of it now. Another 2020. And another one. And another one. And last but not least, so that was a good amount of change. You could tell that I already can tell how, I'll weigh this. I actually thought it was a copper. 2.52. It's a chameleon. All right. So this concludes episode 48. Look what just found. Pockets Change edition. And I'll see you on the next one. Oh. I like that dramatic entrance, huh? Go down a little bit more, I guess. Yesterday, family's still here. Jeez. Okay, all right, that'll do. And for whatever reason, I wasn't. So I cut. If you see that I cut out the bonus feature, is because I rushed or I did a video without. I mean, I got a lot of hair. I mean, I guess some people would say, thank God, or you're lucky you have a lot of hair at your age or whatever, but whatever. I got a lot of hair. And if I don't do something with it, I look like an animal. Okay, just a caveman, whatever you want to call it. And I don't want to present myself that way. So if you see that I cut out this part, that's why. All right. So talked a little bit about today, my qualifications for giving advice. And if you watch the whole video, I spoke about collecting Shaquille O'Neal cards many years ago. And to this day, I'm probably one of, and I would consider myself as close to an expert on Shaquille O'Neal cards that there are. I know all his cards as an active player, right? Obviously, that since he retired, he played, and they made cards with his image on it, and I'm not familiar with those. So, but his active player cards, probably pretty close to an expert on. I had boxes of. I think that the really big ones with the big rows, I think they hold like 6,000 raw cards in them. And I had them piled up about 5 feet. So maybe 15 or 20 of them. So over 100,000 Shaquille cards. And then, of course, the collection that I had of his graded cards, which I had probably another 1,000 to 1,500 of those. So I had I had a really extensive collection, and I really spent a lot of time on understanding his active player sports cards. Okay, so I became kind of an expert in that area. And now what I focus mostly on are pennies. Am I an expert on it? I'm getting there. Let me tell you, on this track, you know, the student is going to become the master. I'm telling you, I can feel it. I know it. My knowledge base has increased so significantly over the past 2 months that, you know, if it just exponentially continues on that path, I'm going to really, really, you know, start reading. If I start getting nuts, I'll start reading books and looking at very detailed studies on very specific coins and pennies, excuse me, pennies. And I'll really learn a lot, continue to learn a lot about pennies. And I don't see that stopping because it's a significant part of this channel. Is it might stop at some point, maybe 6 months, a year, 10 years from now, whenever that is, but not in the near future. It's not stopping. So I do consider myself qualified at this point to give advice in as far as if you want to see how somebody can learn about penny errors, go into my playlist, go to oldest video, not the shorts. The shorts is for entertainment. That's for the people who just like on their smartphone, just to go flicking through, and people love it. I get more views on my shorts than I do my longs. If if those views start to translate to my longs, ching ching, it's going to be great. So let's hope that happens. But irregardless, someone who is just starting and watches my coin roll videos from the oldest to the present, you will see my thought process and my learning process and my learning style, and which I think translates probably is probably universal how people learn, which is, and I talk about my subscribers a lot in my videos. Eric, our member, Otis, um, who knows a lot about knows a lot of penny errors. Uh, Rocker, who knows a lot about pennies, and other people. The the blister error person, the um, misaligned versus um, off-centered person, the strike. See if I get this right. Oh my god! And if you're watching it, you're laughing right now because you know what I'm gonna. You know what error I'm trying to think of. The end end stage um, end stage dye error. I know I said it wrong. There's something else to add there. It's when the dye that makes the image gets dulled and dulled and dulled, and that creates the late stage die cap. Late stage die cap, gentlemen. So I give, I acknowledge and give credit to everyone who has assisted me in this process, and you'll see that in my previous videos, and you will see it as it continues, and I start to do live streams, and I get more members, and yeah, you see us come together, and we start to say, oh, this is that, and oh no, like I had a me and Otis have long discussions on the 1982 varieties, variations between the zinc, the small date, the large date, the Denver, the Philadelphia, um, the copper, the zinc, and we had, and specifically, it's about the 1982 D copper, Denver small date. Specifically, that's the one that's worth all the money, or the most money. Obviously, the other variations, if they're in high grade, they're also worth something significant. So that's where this channel has evolved into. And anyone like the lady who has the video that I watched yesterday, who's like, "Oh, if anyone can help me out and point me in the right direction with it, watch my videos." And that's what I told her. I told her to watch my videos, go into the playlist, go to videos, Coin Roll Hunt, oldest first, and watch them, and you will see how someone learns about pennies, about identifying errors in pennies, and the long process of that goal, of learning. That's that process. So that's it. That's it. I feel qualified to say that, of how someone learns about the process of learning penny errors. Da-da-da! That's it. That's it. That's it. Not quarters, not nickels, not dimes, nothing. Penny errors. That is, and the people who I communicate with a lot know a lot about penny errors, and have helped this channel out a lot. Okay, so that is today's bonus feature of video 40, episode 48. And I'll see you on the next one.